Hello everyone, it's Natasha from Treasure Books. In today's video, we are creating a simple DIY advent calendar in book form. This is a lovely way to anticipate and celebrate the Christmas season, and advent calendars also make wonderful gifts. The concept involves 25 pockets with surprises for each day from December 1st to Christmas Day on December 25th. Opening a pocket each day unveils a small surprise or treat. And I will give you lots of ideas on what to put into the pockets. Okay, so now that the concept of this project is clear, let's dive into the creation. First of all, this idea can be developed in many different ways. Today I'm focusing on the book form, of course, and I'm using book pages. Instead of book pages, you can use envelopes, paper bags, glassine bags. You can make your own envelopes or pouches from scrapbook paper, or you can do a combination of all of these things in the one project. The idea is really simple, so I won't be making this whole book on screen, but rather what I will do is a quick tutorial on the book page envelopes. I will talk through the process of making the actual book, and I will explain some of very important things to consider when making this type of project, such as this kind of stuff. You see that? I will explain as we go, and then we will fill up this whole book together in the video. First thing to consider, of course, is the book that you're going to use. So as you can see, for this project I used a ring binder, and this is actually an upcycled recipe book. I left this like this. I haven't covered it yet. I'm planning to. I am going to pop in some photographs right here so that you can see what this looked like before it was transformed. I think a ring binder is a good option to go with because it's quite sturdy and these pockets do fill up. The pages do get heavy, so you don't want to be using flimsy paper. You want to be using cardstock as base. And it's just nice for this project to use a ring binder because the rings are not in your way, because you're not actually using the book for writing. And I'm mentioning that because the ring binders is something that I haven't used in any of my projects before because I dislike them because they're always in my way. For this project, perfect. If you don't have a ring binder like this, then of course you can just make your own book. So you can use cardstock, and instead of cutting it in half like I did here, you can fold it in half and you can bind the single pages, or you can make little signatures. I mean, you can bind single folios, which is your folded page, into a cover. So let's just say, as an example, you have something like this in your stash. This, for example, is just an old album, photo album that I'm going to repurpose into something else. This here is a hardcover book, and I removed the pages inside, painted the cover, but in any case, I could use this as the base for my project if I bind in the pages using 3-hole pamphlet stitch. So that's also an option if you don't have a ring binder. So let's just say for demonstration purposes you don't have a ring binder and these are your cardstock pieces folded in half, your pages, and you want to bind them in. Because you don't need a whole lot of pages, you only need 25 pockets. So depending on how many you want to fit on a page, you can have 4 pockets in one page, or you can have 1 pocket per page. So this is where you determine how many pages you're going to need. The light changes when I do this. So this is how many pages I actually have in this book if they weren't cut in half. There's 1, 2, and 3. 3 pages, but they've been cut in half. So you can recreate that whole thing with just 3 pages, fold it in half, and you can bind your 3 signatures. Call them signatures. You can bind each folded page as a separate kind of binding method in your book using 3-hole pamphlet stitch or you can make it really simple and you don't even have to bind the pages into the book. You can use the twine binding method, let's say, and wrap preferably an elastic cord, but it doesn't have to be elastic. You wrap it around your spine. This is just real quick demonstration here. So because I have 3 pages, I only need 3 cords. And then over here, you can go ahead and tie your knot, which I'm not going to do because I'm not actually doing it. You can make it all pretty. You can add buttons, you can add beads and all sorts of stuff, because you don't have to worry about beads being in your way because it's not a writing journal. And then you go ahead and you pop your pages in. And there you have it. Quickest little demonstration ever. I didn't cut that off so that I can remove it, but you see what I mean. The actual form of the book, very, very easy to do. The next thing that you need to think about is, of course, making the pockets or the little pouches, envelopes, whatever you want to call them. So there's a few different things to take into consideration when you're deciding, how many envelopes and how you're going to design your book. So you'll probably think about this before you actually bind your book together. So the options are basically you can have all of the exact same envelopes or little pouches, depending if you're going to be making your own or if you're going to be using already made envelopes, such as these, for example. Perfect little size, and in this case I could only fit 2 of these envelopes per page, in which case I would be needing more pages than this. So in here I have 6 pages. If I was to be using these little envelopes, I could fit 4 per page. 4 times 6 is 24. And really, I wanted to have 25 pockets. And plus, I'm not using this pocket here. I mean, this first page here. So anyway, all I'm saying basically is that you want to calculate how many pages you need if you're going to be binding into the cover of your book. If you're not going to be, but if you're using a ring binder like I am, then it doesn't matter. You can just keep adding your cardstock pages. So to keep it nice and simple for yourself, if you want to, it would be the easiest to perhaps beautify your envelopes that you might already have. Maybe use all exactly the same envelopes, or you can use a combination of, some pre-made envelopes and some DIY envelopes. I'm going to show you how I did this. So the way that I designed this project is, before I made the envelopes or the little pouches, I had a kind of a test run. So I'm using up a whole lot of book pages that I have from a project that I'm yet to share. It's going to come out next week. And I'm going to insert a photo of my planning process. So as you can see, I would just simply fold, my book page and make it into a little pouch and see how much I can fit onto the page and then go from there. So because I wanted the project to have some sort of a cohesion, now this very middle spread here is completely symmetrical, and that's what I was going for. But I think I might have even been repeating patterns. So you can see this here, 7, 8, 9 is exactly the same as these here. And then what did I do here? Okay, this is different. Absolutely love this. I think I got into the swing of things as I kept going towards the end of the project. But then here at the start, I'm not a big fan of this, especially the blue color. It kind of just doesn't go, and it's the only one in the book. But now that I've mentioned it, you'll probably keep seeing that. But basically that was the planning out process. So thought went into it, but it's up to you, like how elaborate you want to make this project. Okay, now with the colors, as you have noticed that all of the envelopes are different colors. Here are my little prototype little envelopes that I was trying out before gluing them down. I even had some yellow that didn't make it. All right, so all this is just some fun times with watercolor paint, and really mindless activity. Just watercolor. Some of them are actually acrylic paint, like this bright red here. Just acrylic paint, and you can still see the book page, and you only need to color one side. And it's even better if you just have some colorful ones and then some natural ones. This is also watercolor here, yellow and kind of brownish beige. I'm really loving the look of color in this book, so I think it looks better than just using book pages that you know, just plain book pages. But if you were to do that, I think you can really add embellishments like I did here, little stickers and, you know, little words and stuff like that. Okay, that's all I wanted to say about that at the moment, and we'll come back to this book and I'll show you the details to inspire you some more. But for now, what I wanted to quickly do is share the process, just to, you know, show you how I kind of do it. So let's start with just some plain book pages, and this is my page. And now, as I've shown you before, I might start playing around, make a few little prototypes that perhaps I can follow, and I can straight away see here, perhaps I can fit 2 of this kind. So there's one page design, right? Grab my next book page, and I'm going to follow this prototype, and you just make one and then you can just follow the prototype that you've made. So one thing to keep in mind, if you want, you see how when I close my envelope, all of the writing is upside down. In my book, all of the writing is the right way up. So that's just a little bit important to me. So the way that you do that is when you're folding your little envelopes or your little pouches, make sure that when you grab your book page, you turn it upside down and then you start folding. So here's my little prototype that I did there. I'm just going to line them up. That way I can see here where I need to fold. This is only if you want to make exactly the same size or same looking little envelopes. And again, just following the folds. And here we go, I already have 2 envelopes that are exactly the same in size. The only thing is this one's upside down, so I'm just going to do one more. At this point, what I would do is neaten up these edges. And I am looking to have the same amount of white space on both sides. Or, you know, sometimes I cut off that whole white space right off, so I only have text here. Other times I might, I don't know, maybe you want to have edges that look like this. You can get really creative with this type of stuff, you know. You can do whatever you want, basically, and I'm sure you know that, but sometimes you need a little bit of inspiration, which is what I'm hoping this video is going to do. All right, so let's say this is my pouch, and remember at this stage, maybe I'm just playing around with prototypes and I'm just using book pages that are not in any color. You can do something like this where they look completely different. One can be smaller, the other one can be, I mean, I'm sure this is all quite obvious because as you see on this spread, all different sizes, and then on this spread, all exactly the same. Now, I do want to show you as well how to make this a large book page, because you need 2 large book pages to make a large pocket. I meant to say not a large book page. So we'll get to that. This is your planning part. And now you can decide, all right, I want to have green up the top and I want to have red down the bottom. So in order to seal your envelopes shut, I'm just going to trim this off because I want to have a nice neat edge here. In order to seal this shut, of course, you will need to close your little envelope by applying a little bit of glue to the edges there. And that's going to seal it shut. You're creating a pocket. And of course what I did is I used my sewing machine and sewn around. Sometimes I used a bit of sewing up here. This is all adding decorative stitches, which if you have a sewing machine and if you've been using it on your book page projects, I'm sure that you will know how to do this. But just up close, you can see I did some zigzag stitch. So in order to achieve this look where you have the zigzag stitch up the top as well, you take your piece, let's say this one, to the sewing machine and you do the top edge zigzag stitch first, and then you close your envelope, zigzag stitch around, bottom if you want to, sides definitely, so it can be shut. And then you can play around with whatever you want to do here. You can, like I said, skip the sewing altogether. But I'm sure I don't have to show you the sewing part, because if you're already using your sewing machine on paper, you will know how to do this. Some of the other things or little variables you can throw in is when making your little envelopes, you can have like a triangular edge and then a straight edge down here. You can see that I just folded the little sides down. And the good thing about book pages is when you're using book pages, you can use the lines of the writing as your guide. So I kind of can see when I folded the first one down, it kind of went halfway through those words there. So I did the same on this side, and that way I get a symmetrical look. And I do the same thing when folding. You can see this here. It's folded perfectly along the line. Like if it was, you know, doing something like that, I would know that it's crooked and it's not. These are just little things that you might want to keep an eye on if you want your project to look, you know, if you're into that whole thing of perfection, which I don't advise you to be, but it's usually not a choice. Okay, here you can see this type of a stitch, just a straight edge. You can keep it really simple. Then again here, a little point, little triangle. So, you know, they're all different and interesting, and these are all the little things that you can play around with in your planning stages. What else have we got? You know, pretty much the same thing all the way to the end. All right, now let's assume these are my envelopes. What I would do here, and let's say I'm not going to be using my sewing machine. So at this stage, what I would do here is just glue this down, just a bit of glue, glue stick. I would then go ahead and ink all of the edges. And again, this is not something that, you know, is a must, but I just like that look. So you can see how nice that looks when it's all inked. And then you will go ahead and glue the sides down. There's one, and then you can perhaps maybe use a washi tape for the other. Maybe I'll give the washi tape a little bit of a wiggly edge, which is easy to do on washi tape that has this backing on it, but it might be a little bit difficult, or more difficult than washi tape that doesn't. Okay, repeat on the other side, and here we go, envelopes made. And you can go ahead and decorate more, you know, if you've got the washi tapes out, well, might as well. But anyway, these are all little details that you can explore and see how you can make your little pouches, what's the word I'm looking for, you know, interesting to you. And now also, before I move on to the next thing, I just wanted to show you how to make a really large envelope, because for this type of an envelope that covers the whole page, you need a really large sheet of paper, really large book page. And this probably, actually, you can see this. I was going to say this probably will work. Of course, it's not going to work because the bottom page needs to give you a flap. Okay, so what you could do, if you don't have larger book pages, let's say you only have the option of using like these small book pages, you can maybe do something like this. And you want to start upside down. Remember, if you want to have your writing the right way up. So if you overlap them a little bit and bring this one up, you can make it work with the smaller book pages. This is all crooked, but I'm not looking at that right now. So anyway, this is what you would do. You just get 2 book pages and you overlap. This one has to be shorter anyway. For the pocket opening, you can see that's shorter there, and then the flap covers the opening. So you just kind of, you know, overlap them, glue them together there, and then you have this flap and you have this large envelope. I simply used a larger book. You can see quite a large book here with larger book pages, and I didn't want to use up my pretty papers with the prints, so I went and looked for, look at this, how beautiful does this look. I didn't want to kind of ruin this paper, so I'm saving that, and I just used pages that only have text like this, and the pages are quite large, so I can really play around. It didn't even cross my mind to try and do it with smaller pages, but I'm actually going to go ahead and make a large pocket, a proper large pocket, not any of this business. I'm going to do it on camera, and I'm going to use sewing this time. So the first thing that I would do is neaten the edges, and I want the 2 pages to be exactly the same, not even a millimeter of difference between them. Okay, we've neatened up those edges, and now I'm going to flip them upside down. If you're using book pages that have illustrations, maybe try and have your illustrations at the top flap. So first thing I'm going to do is the flap. Now I'm going to pop this one kind of in to see where, you know, how much I can go down while the flap is still covering it. Turn it around and overlap. apply a little bit of glue. You can use masking tape to keep it closed, or washi tape. The back is not going to be visible anyway because you'll be gluing your pockets down onto pages. Okay, that's glued together. And this is why I wanted to have my pages exactly the same. And even though I did cut them precisely, there's still some, these are minute little details that may not worry you, but there's my large pouch. So now I'm going to take it to my sewing machine. First, I'm going to sew a straight line across here. And there it is, straight line. I'm going to get rid of the threads. And next thing I'm going to do is close this shut here. So I'm going to sew down the edges, including the bottom. And I'm not going all the way up, just sewing the pocket shut. Okay, so there's my pocket envelope done. Now at this stage I might decide I want to make it a little bit more fun. Maybe I will use an offcut piece from my offcuts folder here. Maybe I'll use this, just trim it down to size, a little bit smaller than the flap. And let's see how that's going to look. I'm liking the look of that. And just to hold it down while I'm sewing around, I applied a little bit of glue stick. I'm going to pop that down. And again, do a zigzag stitch all around that, this piece. And that's done. You can see that a zigzag stitch in there. I might ink the edges. Now I can decorate the front here. And I decided to just use whatever was really closest to me. So I'm going with dragonflies, not Christmas themed, but just for demonstration purposes. And there we go, a little pouch is done. So now, as you can imagine, you have to make 25 pouches, and this might seem like a whole lot of work, which is why right at the beginning I mentioned that you can use your pre-made envelopes, and you can, I don't know, tea dye them, for example, so they're not so stark white, or not, because you'll be using dates or numbers to number the dates anyway, so you'll be embellishing some more. If I was to make this project all over again, I would use pre-made envelopes, and I would use all different types of pre-made envelopes. So not all of the same ones, they will all be different. Okay, but the option is yours, or the choice is yours, how much time and effort you're willing to put into this project. And just to put things into perspective, I started this on Sunday and finished on Wednesday, but I didn't work on any of my other creative projects. Okay, so now that we've covered the making and the preparing of your envelopes, I'm quickly going to touch on when you're gluing them down. It's important because we're going to be filling these envelopes up with stuff. They must have a little bit of give. And in retrospect, or in hindsight, I see now that I should have left even more give on my envelopes. So let me just show you as an example. Doesn't matter which one, I'll just take one out so I can show you. See these? The envelopes are not glued all the way to the edges. So I only applied glue in about this section here, a little bit larger than this date. I should have left more space, because you can see that there's space, but because I'm filling them up, so I'm going to fill them up so full so that they're really fun, I need more space. So I suggest, let's do a pretend one. This is your page and this is your envelope, and now it's time to start decorating your pages and gluing your envelopes down. So instead of kind of what we usually do when we're gluing stuff down, we go to the edge. Stay well away from the edge, but not only that, I'm actually going to draw. There we go. That's how much I would cover with the glue. So I'll just go in just in that section. Get my glue to work. Here we go. Just in that section. Glue it down. If you use double-sided tape, of course, double-sided tape will give way, might rip, rip off as you're pulling things out and stuff like that. And then, I wouldn't use double-sided tape. Basically, probably wouldn't use glue stick either, but any other glue will do. We'll come back to this so I can show you how much give there is. So now you have designed your envelopes and you have glued them down onto your pages. What I did here is you can see little strips of scrapbook paper underneath my envelopes, and I quickly abandoned that idea, to be honest. I only did it on the first page because it's really unnecessary and it seemed really cluttered. For some reason this I think if this here was a different color, maybe it would, if it was a red, maybe it will flow better. So that's the design stage where you're adding little things. Okay, now we come to the really fun part, which is filling the pockets. And I have a sheet of paper here full of ideas, but I just realized that I forgot to mention, before you start filling the pockets, perhaps add the numbers. I try to keep the numbers different so you can see, you know, they're not all exactly the same. I also layered the numbers onto scrapbook paper and stuff like that. And then I started towards the end, like I started doing 3 layers. I mean, it was quite intensive, let me tell you, time intensive, but the result is absolutely wonderful. So let me just show you this one up close. You can see cut out numbers from a scrapbook paper, then I put it onto red paper, and then I put it onto gold cardstock. And I did pretty much the same with all of the numbers. And it's not something that you will notice right away, but it most definitely gives the whole spread. When you look at it like this, you see all of this gold that you didn't notice before. And it kind of ties everything in together. We have the gold on the numbers, then we have little golden stars here and there. Each edge over here has a little gold. It's just a punch. You know, it's really nothing fancy. I just punch out little gold bits and then glue them on. And you can see these little gold circles on all of my edges, and it's probably not something that you've noticed before. I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see. These are all the little details that you don't initially notice, because everything is supposed to kind of flow together. You can see these first 2 spreads, I wasn't in my element. They're not looking great, but I love this one, the symmetrical one. You can see those little corners there, and I even did like fancy, it's not really fancy, but like these corner, I used a corner punch here on all of the edges so that they look a little bit interesting. You can see that down there. And everything is kind of tied in with the gold theme, which in general I love, but also Christmas time. And you can see here these little gold, this is also just, it's cardstock from Kmart, just cardstock. I happen to have these die cuts. They make these beautiful borders, and this and this. But going back to this spread, you will notice the little details in all of the dates. So we have, this is actually metal embellishment that I happen to have in my stash, and then the little gold punch outs, and then here I have 3 little ones. And then over here I just have, this looks like a crown, like king crown, I don't know. And then, you know, that kind of thing. So I feel like the dates can really embellish the whole thing. You don't really need much more than that, you know. You're just embellishing the dates and having colorful envelopes. You can see nothing much here. And I didn't even embellish these dates. I think I was getting more and more inspired as I kept progressing, you know, through the book. But I'm sure some will say that this spread is their favorite. So much fun to be had, and so much of your own creativity that you can put into this project. Okay, now we are moving on to the fun stuff, which is filling up the pockets, and we're going to do it together. First, I'm just going to pop this up on screen, and you don't need to copy this down. I will include it at the end of the video as you know, put it on screen on its own so you can take a screenshot. But these are just some of the examples that I have personally decided to use in this book. Now, I'm using all crafty or paper crafty stuff. It really depends on who you're giving the advent calendar to. Another thing that you can do is make it for yourself for next year. And I think that's what I might do with this one. I might keep it for myself. And then next year I will be surprised with all of the things that are in there. I'll forget what I put in. So some of the things you can put in: tags, stickers, charms, playing cards, die cuts, tea bags, mini flat chocolates, napkins, bows, ephemera, paper flowers, journaling spots. You will see ideas of all of these things in this book. Washi swatches, bookmarks, stamped images, stencils, mini journal, notebook, ball pins, doilies, postage stamps, lace, buttons, thread, punchinella, you'll see what I mean, paper clips, bling, rub-ons, fabric, book plates, sequins, paper bags or glassine bags, paper meaning beautiful paper, scrapbook paper, notepad paper, whatever you have. handmade paper, that kind of thing falls into that category. All right, so these are just some ideas. So now what you could do, and what I was planning to do, is that each pocket will have the one category. So I will put all the tags into this pocket, let's say, just for example. And then I decided that because this will be opened, one a day, it would be better for each pocket to have a whole mixture of things, right? Just seems like more interesting things. So in one pocket, I might have 10 of these things, categories. All right, so let's start filling up the pockets finally, and we are going to start with pocket number 1. In pocket number 1, I decided to put in these little pieces. There's some vellum little pieces. There's stamped, this is a stamped little sentiment, some little stickers, a gold tag, and a little selection of buttons that I've sewn onto this scrapbook piece of paper. Okay, and that can go into the pocket. And of course, the numbers serve as closures for the pocket. So that's another thing I wanted to mention. This one here is now dry, and I've stapled it so you can see how it looks when it's actually shut. And you see this, plenty of space to put things in and to take things out. If it was completely glued onto the page, I'm going to staple it so you can see. Okay, I kind of use double-sided tape. So this will be sturdy because you're using cardstock. And then when you go to open the pocket, you're putting way too much pressure on your closure here, whether it's glued or sewn. And it's very easy to rip that paper when you're popping things in. So that's why it's always good to have that give. Okay, and now also with the numbers, remember how I said that they are there to hold, the envelopes shut. So you might even want to choose to do this step after your envelopes are filled, because you only want tiny little bit of the top part to be covering your envelope. Otherwise, it'll be really hard to maneuver your closure, underneath that number. So let's pretend this is my number. I'm going to apply a little bit of glue down the bottom. So only a little bit of glue at the very bottom, and then pop that down just like so. So you only a very, very minimal coverage of the flap so that it's easy to open and then also easy to close. Okay, I hope that's making sense. For pocket number 2, I'm going to do a little bit of this ribbon and a little owl. It doesn't have to be Christmas themed. I'm doing some playing cards, vintage playing cards. My thoughts are that every day that the pockets are opened, these are some heart stickers. These little bits and pieces can be used in a working journal. For example, you can have a December daily. Here are some tabs, a little turtle charm, and some jump rings. In it all goes, and close. That's pretty much how I envisioned this to be used. Every day you pull out your bits and pieces, and then you apply them to your little mini book that you're working in December, or really, I mean, you can do this and it doesn't have to be a December thing or Christmas thing. It can be like a birthday month thing. All right, pocket number 3, I made a little laminated tag. It's the same paper that I used, on the cover and stuff, and I just have a little die cut piece there and a little sticker here. I'm not sure how I feel about that being so visible, the edge of that sticker, but anyway, it will do. And a little bling up the top there. And that goes into pocket number 3. What did I say? A tag? It's a bookmark. It's a bookmark. All right, pocket number 4. I have a little mini playing card, king, a sticker, some angels, another sticker, again a stamped and fussy cut little thing, a little bit of lace, just a little offcut of lace that can be used as a tab on a page, for example, a little tag, and a paper flower. And done. Pocket number 5 is a really tiny one, so I'm going to pop in some of these Christmas little mini stickers, I think they are, some little Christmas postage stamps, an arrow, punched out heart, and a little gold tag to go with the whole gold thing. And into the pocket it all goes. I just wanted to mention, with these little tiny pockets, they're very, very small, easily ripped. So what I did is created this opening here. I just kind of did this little thing. It makes it easier to pull things out of the envelope. And just really quickly, this is really all it is. The only thing you want to do is perhaps make sure that the flap covers this, but it doesn't have to. I mean, this looks good if it was symmetrical, you know. But anyway, that might make it easier for the person to pull things out of the envelope. All right, up to pocket number 6. All I'm going to put in there is a little bit of thread, green and red for, you know, Christmas themed. So if you're not a Christmas person or you're not into the whole Christmas thing, to be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of the Christmas journals and stuff like that, because I feel like they can only be used for that 1 month of the year, the whole Christmas decorations and all of that. But I feel like you can make something like this for like the birthday month. You can do 30 days to your birthday, you know, little things. Okay, pocket number 7, I'm going in with some pieces of ephemera, some stickers. These are also stickers. They've got gold foiling, little kind of postage stamp ephemera. I'm also going to pop in this wooden butterfly, a little popsicle stick, and I just have some words on there saying inner spirit. That can go on, let's say, a cover, and then a little key charm. Into the pocket it goes. Pocket number 8, I have this is a playing card, a vintage playing card, and then I have washi tape. So this is just washi tape swatch kind of thing, washi tape wrapped around the playing card. Then I have this gold book plate, a mushroom sticker, again a stamped image. You can use your stamps and make all sorts of fun stuff. Another wooden embellishment, and 2 star paper clips. Into the pocket it goes. Up to pocket number 9, large pocket. We can fit a whole lot of stuff in here. I have prepared some notepad or notebook, you know, those little paper notepad books, just little different papers. I have this beautiful paper bag, pattern paper bag, more paper, gold foiling up there. This is a photograph overlay. You can do so much stuff with this. Make a clear pocket, sew it on a page. Then I have this little DIY kind of an envelope thing. And then finally I have this little mini journal. It's only got like 2 pages folded in half and bound in. So it's a mini notebook. I had to be careful how much I can fit into these pockets, because otherwise my book is going to gape too much. But this is really cool. This can be like your shopping list for Christmas or something like that. And home it goes. There we go. Now you can see this pocket is not being held down because I wanted to embellish this and I didn't want to hide these beautiful stickers. This one's got gold foiling. It's absolutely beautiful. So, I mean, you don't have to have this kind of thing happening. You can just pop your numbers anywhere, really, on an envelope. Another thing that I also did, if you might have noticed, see how that light changes? It's driving me crazy. I applied eyelets to all of my holes here, so that really reinforces this cardstock, so it's not going to kind of rip from the weight of the paper or the turning of the pages. Pocket number 10, which is this one here, I'm just using this. This is kind of like pretty sticky tape, really. It's washi tape, sticky tape, clear, kind of a thing. It's pretty fun. I'm going to hold it down with the paper clips because it's not long enough, so I don't want it to kind of fall in down the bottom, because it will be very difficult to get it out. So as I pop it in, I'm going to also clip it up the top there with the paper clip. All right, pocket number 11. I am going in with this little mini envelope or pocket. I have a tutorial on this if you don't know how to make these origami beautiful little pieces. I'm going to pop in maybe a feather sticker and a little butterfly, flower. Then I'm going to add another flower, and then I'm going to add another flower. It will be so much fun to also gift, if you're gifting this to someone, to also gift like a December daily book so they can start using these pieces in their journal. That'll be pretty cool. Pocket number 12, also a little one, also did that thing here. And all I'm going to pop in there are butterfly stickers and a little pouch of these little sequin flowers. and these can be used in a whole lot of different ways, but you've seen me use it up here on this bookmark. That one's done. And the little butterfly stickers came off of this butterfly sticker sheet, and this was actually a kid's thing in a kid's sticker pack, and I just love butterflies, and cutting them down individually looks so much better. Like, they look really exquisite in little pockets. And we're up to number 13. I might turn the light on. I'm gonna pop in this cute little embellishment thing. These are actually nail art stickers, but I use them in my journal. Then I have this postcard. I made a video on making these. I'm gonna link it. I'm gonna pop in a little purple tag. Speaking of purple, the light is driving me crazy because it makes my hands look purple, and they're not actually purple, and the light keeps changing, and it's taking away from the beauty of this project, in all honesty. That's how I feel. All right, pocket number 14. I'm gonna go in with some little bling stickers, or what would you call them? Little, I don't know, crystal bling pieces. This is a tag. This also came out of the video. This is all layers of washi tapes. I'm gonna link this video down below. It's all different washi tapes. Then I'm going to go in with some die cut pieces. These pieces I love to use in laminating bookmarks and stuff like that, as you've seen the bookmark I did before. And then I'm also going to pop in these leaf little die cuts. Pocket number 15, also a little one. I'm going in with more of these little ephemera pieces, Christmas themed, all Christmas themed here, postage stamp, stuff like that. And I'm going to put in a little bag of gold sequins. I love using sequin on sewing them onto pages, or centers of flowers and all sorts of different things like that. Maybe I can actually make a video on using all of these things, like how I would actually use these things. But I'm not sure, because I'm thinking I might also want to sell this journal. I'll have to think about that. Up to pocket number 16. But I think I could make a really nice journal just using up the little bits and pieces, like a December daily, but I'm not into the whole Christmas thing, so I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Okay, another little postcard I used, as you can see, a map page here, a playing card, a tag. This tag is just, you know, that self-adhesive book covering. I happen to have rolls of red, and then I just glue them down onto cardstock, put it through my Sizzix, you know. Okay, anyway, I'm going in with a little gold flower. I have a little charm thing here, another little gold cutout or punched out piece, and another one. And we always are using bulb pins, so they're always handy. And then a little thing, just a little thing that I had on my desk. I'm gonna pop it in there. And you know, I'm really, if I had time today, I would actually, like, I'm so inspired to go and every day use whatever's in the pocket. Okay, pocket number 17. This is a fun one. So this is just scrapbook paper. You can see I embellished with a sticker, and I did the tab. It's in one of the pockets, the tabs. This is also in the pockets you've seen. And then this opens up. It's like a journaling bookmark maybe. And that goes in there. Lovely. That's looking so good. I'm loving how this is looking. And we are up to pocket number 18, another large one. I feel like I feel inspired myself just filming this video. And I was actually inspired, you know, obviously while making the whole thing. And then last night I was kind of planning the video, and my daughter was sitting next to me, and she was listening to me because I was thinking about what I want to say in the introduction and stuff like that. And just, you see all of these little bits and pieces that are going to go into this pocket. So what I wanted to say is that she felt so inspired seeing this project that I have to show you this. She started making her own little envelopes, and she was so inspired. She was telling me, I feel so inspired. You can see this. She's only little, and she wants to make a gift, and she's even done the numbers, and they're all different sizes. Look how cute. They're all, you know, a little bit messy, but that's okay. I felt so happy that she was inspired to go and start creating the project. Now, will she ever finish this? We shall see. But I feel like, well, what I want to say really is that I hope you feel the same kind of inspiration and you just want to go and make the thing. Pocket number 19, just different little things. I have some, this is actually off of old Christmas cards. I have a whole bunch of pieces that I've cut down and prepared, you know, for various projects. Here's some leaves, here's a little something, embellishment, and spiral paper clips on just some cardstock. So please let me know in the comments down below, do you feel inspired? We're up to pocket number 20. Some stickers. So do you feel inspired? And if you're liking this video so far, I never do this, I don't know why I'm doing this now. I was gonna say give me a like, but here I am, I'm saying it. If you are enjoying this video, then why not go ahead and give me a little like. And then I also have these little bling pieces to go with the rest that can go into its new home. Lovely. And we are up to pocket number 21. I'm gonna pop in a little tag and ephemera pieces. These are stickers, and this is actually washi tape, but they're individual Christmas themed stickers. And then I have this autumn leaf and another autumn leaf. We're in summer here. Well, we're not yet. We're heading into summer here in Australia. But anyway, autumn leaves. All right, pocket number 21, done and dusted. 22. I'm going to put in these are like tickets that it's just ephemera, but they're perforated tickets, you know, that can be used in collage and stuff. Speaking of collage, I'm going to pop in a little napkin. I've got this little Christmas themed napkin that somebody sent to me in Happy Mail, and I've held on to it for a long time, waiting for the perfect project. So that's going to go in there. Now this one here is also from a greeting card, cut out, you know, the front of the greeting card. And then these are little leftover pieces from sticky tape, kind of washi tape kind of thing. So I'm going to pop that in there too. Done. Pocket number 23. Oh, we're nearly done. Bringing in some new elements. I have some fabric here. That looks nice. This looks nice as a little envelope if you saw it shut. And then a little more fabric and a little pocket with, you know, this can go on cover of a journal. Can go in there, and done. Pocket number 24. I have another little napkin that's gonna go in there. These are beautiful for decoupage and stuff like that. I think I already said that. Stickers, journaling spot. Like this says, you know, like a nameplate thing it can be, or it can be a pocket or whatever. And a little piece of ephemera, cardstock, journaling spot, a playing card, and a little stencil. I can't really see. There we go, little stencil. And pocket number 25. I'm going in with some red and green punchinella. This is offcuts from sequins. So you might have some of this in your stash, you might not. Anyway, it's just an idea. You can use this for mark making on your papers. You can pop it down. It's like a stencil. Use it with paint. You can make little tabs from it. You can use it in your Sizzix, in your die cut machine, to make impressions on a page. Kind of like using an embossing folder, but you just use this instead. All right, so that's that. Then we have some more punchinella. We have a large Merry Christmas card. There's that silver punchinella, a little piece of ephemera here, stamped image, like a journaling spot, also a stamped image, a tag, another tag, really bright red, Christmassy, 25th of December, Christmas Day. This is journaling spot, a little thing, little cutout, that looks cool. I can glue that there. Ephemera, another tag, and some stars. These are actually tags. They can go on presents and such. I'm gonna pop this in there as well. And because this is the last one and it's Merry Christmas, December 25th, the last pocket, I kind of put a little bit more effort into this pocket, you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers that I used here. And I just happen to have these die cuts. You don't need to go and buy anything to, you know, create projects, but that's what I did there. And I have a little Merry Christmas here. And then I can go ahead, do something on this last page, back cover, which I'm not going to because I really don't feel like this needs anything more. And now you can see when I filled it up, it's kind of full. I'm gonna show you what it looks like. We'll come back to the front cover. It's not gaping. The ring, you can see how some pages are all the way here at, you know, towards the end, and then these are up here. The ring binder gives you that kind of movement, so they're not all in the same, what's the word, you know, because then they would sit kind of like this and it would still work. Anyway, so it is a little bit of an alligator mouth, which I don't mind, but you do kind of have to be a little bit careful of how much stuff you put in there. Now I'm going to tell you what I did on this front cover. But before I do that, I just wanted to say that the things that I didn't include, and there was no space for in this book, are tea bags, chocolates, bows, notebook, doilies. And by doilies, I mean, yes, paper doilies, but also these kinds of things, these crocheted little doilies. I think they would be fun to include. I didn't include any book plates, and that's it. Apart from that, I have included all of the other things. Okay, now the front cover, all I did here is I have this in my stash, and basically it's just a wooden piece of what do you call these, chipboard maybe, I don't know what they're called now. And you know, they come in all sorts of different varieties. Like here are some other examples. They're called wood flourishes. I don't think that's what they're called, but anyway, it's just wood. So basically what I did is first I painted it gold. You can see the lighting is not great, but that's painted gold. And then I also used black cardstock underneath that I of course painted in gold glitter paint. So it's just glitter basically in a paint. This is what it is, glitter paint, and I painted the cardstock underneath with the glitter paint. Then I popped my painted wooden flourish on top of the painted, you know, and cut it out. So it just kind of makes it stand out a little bit more, I find, with this scrapbook paper that I used. And you can see I've sewn around the paper, and I have also added these little bookmarks to the edges. And I don't know, I always get asked, where did you get those die cuts? I get everything that I have, almost, well, not everything, but op shops or thrift stores, marketplace on Facebook and eBay, and you know, half the things that I have are not from an actual place where I can give you a link and say, here's the link. So I can't give you a link for the book corners, but they look like actual metal, but they're actually just cardstock. And the cardstock itself it's called foiled cardstock, and it's from Kmart, and it's really inexpensive, but really quite fancy. Look at that. All sorts of different colors. I really got it only for the gold because it looks so fancy on projects like this. I think what I'm trying to say is that you don't have to have all the fancy things to make fancy things, right? Like here's another example, and I've showed this in a video of mine. This is a bag. Just keep a lookout on, you know, things like this that you can repurpose and use. And when I first started crafting, I had pretty much nothing. And over the years, as most of you know, your stash just grows and grows and grows and multiplies and all. And then in the end, you're searching for organizing videos because you have no space for your craft supplies. So this is beside the point, but please don't go and purchase things, you know, just because you think, oh, I have to have the fancy corners to make this project work. You don't. You make it work with using your own creativity, which I'm hoping this video has helped to spark, ignite, I suppose is what I'm trying to say. Yes. So I think I'm going to end this video here. I didn't tell you about this actually. I mean, it's pretty explanatory. This is just scrapbook paper. I covered the writing that was there, exactly the same. This is the other side of this scrapbook paper. And also another thing, most of my scrapbook papers also come from a marketplace, a Facebook marketplace. People, you will find, if you keep an eye out, people either decide, oh yes, I'm all into scrapbooking, so I'm going to go buy all the things, which is what I'm saying to you not to do. And then 5 years down the track, they realize this is just taking up space. I'm not scrapbooking. I'm not using this. I'm going to put it on marketplace. And then you come along and you get a really good deal on all the wonderful things that they thought they needed to create beautiful things. And then they didn't use it. And now you have it. And now you're going to use it. So I'm going to end this video here. Please let me know what you think. Do you feel inspired? It's always the question that I ask. I'm going to pop this up on screen now. I'm sure that you have thought about many other things that you can use. So please write them down in the comments down below. And everyone can go into the comment section, leave me a comment, number one. And number two, read through all of the other comments to get more ideas on how you can perhaps create the books, and also some of the other things that can go into the books. You can make the whole book personalized for the one individual. So if they're into reading, you can make it book lovers themed advent calendar. If they're into sewing, you can make it a sewing themed advent calendar. I hope that you see all of the possibilities with this project. The possibilities are truly endless. All right, thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. And by the way, this book is also a thrift store find. And now I have created this beautiful project, and I also have all of these other things that were inside the book that I can use for whatever, you know. I think that's enough for today. I will stop talking now.